they have any other songs at this nightclub? I'm Sam.
These boots are made for dancing. That's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots will dance like I stepped in dog poo. I'm Justin.
So a lot of people were having seizures during this movie. I'm Jackie, and this is Girl in Gold Boots on Sneaker Madness.
I am a robot person.
What's that smell?
I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty as fuck. Thirsty as fuck.
Hey, look at this!
Thrill me.
If you come back in here, I'm gonna hit you with so many rights, you're gonna beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Hey, look at this!
It stinks.
Hello and welcome to Sneaker Madness, the podcast about bad movies for bad movie lovers. We've got a gem of an MST3K job here from 1968, Girl in Gold Boots, currently streaming without MST3K on Tubi TV, but we'll have a debate on that, whether you should, because it's also got MST3K on Prime right now. So that will be probably our main question at the end. But starring nobody I've ever heard of or directed by anybody I've ever heard of. So hopefully Sam has a bunch of info. But first, let's go to Jackie. Why Girl in Gold Boots?
I like the cover,
Okay, that's very Jackie-esque.
and I thought it was going to be more dancing, and wow, this was not okay.
Are you glad that there wasn't more dancing?
In this film, yeah. I mean,
Right?
the dancing kind of seemed like seriously people were having seizures.
It's terrible.
They were on a lot of drugs, and maybe we're going to fall over a couple of times, and they just kind of cut away from that. And it looked like a dangerous movie set, to be real honest.
Yeah, that's what you think they're shitty dancers, but that's what somebody who went to Juilliard looks like when they have 10 Quaaludes in them.
Right? I mean, the number one review on IMDb literally is, the title is, "You Dance Like a Clown." I mean, it's fucking crazy. Like, I don't know. I wasn't around in 1968, and even if I was, I wouldn't have been old enough to know if, like, what nightclub dancing is like. But if I went into a nightclub and I saw dancing like this, I would be like, the record would scratch for me. Like, I would make a record scratch sound, and I would just turn around and walk out and be like, nope, I'm good. I'm out.
You'd actually have to drive home, go get a portable turntable, bring it back, scratch the record so that everybody looks at you, and then fly them the bird and walk off.
Fuck you. Ooh. Yeah, no, I don't. It looks like it hurts, kind of.
I'm sure
It
that.
doesn't when you're full of Quaaludes.
Well, there's that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure some of these gals have neck injuries.
Yeah, I mean, it's Whiplash-esque.
Well, and like the main dancer looked like she was trying to pop her shoulder out of her
You mean
socket.
Joni?
Yeah, Joni.
Uh-huh.
When she's teaching the
Michelle.
Michelle how to dance, it looked like she was trying to just pop her own shoulder out.
Right.
Like bam, look at this.
Like she's Riggs. Check out my trick. I can get out of any trap.
Yep.
Can't torture me, but if you want to, you go right ahead.
I was thinking that she was trying to one-up Ben Kingsley on what it looks like to take a gunshot.
Right? I mean, they're like...
That's what it looked like to me, is that she was like in an action movie pretending that she was getting shot a lot.
I mean, the Spanish Inquisition literally did less damage to human bodies than this film did. Like, it's that mean to arms and joints and backs and necks. All right, Sam, what have you got on Girl in the Gold Boots?
We did Doll Squad already, right?
I don't think so.
I thought we did Doll Squad. Did we do?
So.
Did we do a do's and don'ts on Doll Squad?
I don't think so.
I don't remember this at
I
all.
think we did Doll Squad. If we didn't do Doll Squad, apparently our memories have turned to shit.
Right.
We may have done. So Ted V. Michaels is the the guy who put this movie together. He's the writer, producer, director, editor. He just makes these movies.
Sure.
But he did Doll Squad as well. And then he also, his big one, I think, is Astro Zombies.
Okay.
And then he did two sequels very far apart. And his last movie before he died was the third installment of the Astro Zombies trilogy. And I don't know how bad it is because I would assume he was shooting on video at that point.
Mm-hmm.
He's an interesting character. He comes from Minnesota. He
Don't
goes
you
to
know?
Bend, Oregon, and he's doing theater.
Like,
And there's
what kind
these.
of theater? Like,
Let's think about Bend, Oregon in 1960.
right. I mean,
I would think the theater happens like once a month during the summer, so he probably does 3 shows.
okay.
At that same time, there's a run of westerns that get shot up there.
Uh-huh.
One of them has Kirk Douglas. Oddly, they're all horrendously racist Native American themed pictures.
Weird.
And he does stunts as one of the quote unquote Indians because he can ride and shoot a bow at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So after he does these stunts, he's interested in getting into movies and he can't because he's a stunt man and he's fucking stuck there if he wants to keep working. So he just decides, I'm going to make my own pictures. And he does. Eventually that takes him to Glendale where he lives for quite a while. And then eventually realizes how good he can do with money making these movies on his own as far as savings if he's shooting in Vegas instead. And so he's kind of the front end of the film shift to Vegas.
He's given us Neil Breen by being Neil Breen-esque himself.
Inadvertently,
Right.
yes. Because him and all the porn guys too.
Right.
And I don't know. It was hard to figure out exactly when. And he's got I'd have to read the entire book he's got a book written about him.
Huh.
He's that interesting.
Yeah.
I'd have to read the entire book, put the dates together, figure out when Hollywood starts abandoning, or porn starts abandoning Hollywood in favor of Vegas. And if he decided to do that because of them, or if they saw how good he was doing budget-wise and were like, why are we shooting these porns here?
Also,
We can shoot
like,
these porns in Vegas.
duh. I mean, it's also kind of a duh thing. Where are all the strippers? Vegas. Okay, let's go to Vegas. We can get all the strippers and people that are very down on their luck to do horrible things to their butts. Hey, you got a gambling debt? Well, you got 2 options. You're out in the desert, or we're going to put bad things in your butt.
Or we're going to take you out to the desert and put bad things in your butt.
Right?
And if you let all of them get in your butt, we won't leave you there.
Right?
He's a really busy fellow as well. In terms of an independent filmmaker that's completely independent, that somehow still was able to operate in California, he's got a bevy of work. His filmography is prolific. He did Astro Zombies the same year that he did this, and he was pumping out 2 a year for quite a while.
Wow.
It's also fun because this is definitely exploitive in sex without any nudity or actual sex.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons that's going to be is that a lot of these other people that are really like just doing sex movies at this point, or porn, or just like really a lot of titties in movies, they know that they can get him into the right theaters. He has to sell this shit. So he's still trying to sell to drive-thrus. He's trying to get it in as many places as he can, if he can even get it. He's like speculative on all of his pictures. So it has to be G-rated with a hope for X-rated poster sort of a thing.
Right.
Later in his films, he's going to, I don't have to worry. Once he doesn't have to worry about selling to drive-thrus, things really change for this guy. Also, what is odd is that he's renowned as a hard partier and a guy who probably was just giving drugs to whoever wanted him the whole time the movie was happening.
Sure.
And so I find it fun that the villain in the picture is like also him.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Right.
What?
Maybe Joni actually was high on fucking schmack.
Wait. The villain? So the club owner or the guy who looks like Dastardly Dan?
No, the director in real life is acting just like the club owner, Leo. He's giving drugs to his employees to keep them very doped up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm on it now.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was in the movie and he was the Dastardly Dan looking guy who was also my favorite actor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's not going to be able to pay these people. He can't give them money. And they're all in Astro Zombie as well. Like, it seems like a lot of these people were able to stick around him as long as they could. And then they're like, it didn't work. This didn't help me get paying gigs. I have to move on to something else now. Speaking of Leo, Dan Herron, he was married to Judy Garland
Wow.
for 5 months.
Oh, didn't work out.
And he was also like the business manager for her stage show when it would go abroad or something.
Hmm.
It seems like a cash grab.
Yeah,
He didn't ever want to talk about it. And this is the most interesting thing about the Judy Garland marriage is that his marriage to Judy Garland is like an affair
Mm-hmm.
with his partner, basically.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like a business transaction more than actually like, I love you for 5 months. You bastard, get out of here.
Yeah. Veteran character actor Henry Brandon and him were in a permanent three-way with Jane Fisher
Like
for like 20 some odd years. Like they were
their penises got stuck.
no.
Well, then it's not.
I mean,
permanent.
yeah. Well, they were in a permanent love triangle. They all loved each other or whatever. It was very futuristic modern relationship. I don't know, but it's odd when you find out that, oh, wow, that being married to Judy Garland and getting it annulled for 5 months isn't the most interesting thing about this guy's love life. The most interesting thing about this guy's love life is that, wow, that actually happens. People have pulled that off. Yeah, these guys, they pulled it off. They went into a three-way for 20 some odd years.
Golden or the London Bridge. You know, you and your buddy, holding hands.
She may have been the third wheel on the deal.
Maybe. Who knows? I'm glad I wasn't there.
The only other actor that really made it out or did other stuff that wasn't just Ted Michaels shit is James Victor, the pusher, the drug dealer that's all wacky.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sure.
And he did TV before this. This is his first movie. And fortunately, he doesn't get stuck in this because he's friends with John Cassavetes. And so he gets bit parts in Cassavetes pictures, and then that helps him get other parts here and there. And so he ended up getting over 40 credits by the time he was done.
Wow. It's not bad. Right on.
It's not bad.
All right. That's what you got, huh?
That
All right.
concludes the interesting things about
That
this
was
movie.
a lot more information than I was expecting because this is, late 60s swinging movie that usually has zero information about it. So well researched there. Sammy.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to read this guy's book now.
Yeah, it would be interesting. You
Yeah.
should- what's it called?
It helps. I believe it's the life of Ted V. Michaels or something like that. It's basically, it's got him on the cover. It's written by somebody else, but it's just basically the written form of all of these interviews about his life in book form.
All right.
But he's that much of a figure in sort of independent cult cinema, and that he was fairly lucid the whole time, remembers all of it. Because that's the other thing about some of these movies that are made then. Like, you ask Corman about some of his movies, he's just not going to remember it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he didn't care when he was making it, and he made 3 that year.
Right.
He's like, oh yeah, I made that movie. And you're like, oh, what happened here? And he's like, you just reminded me that I made it. I don't remember anything about it.
I barely paid attention. I looked at the checks that were coming in. That's pretty much what I did. All right. Girl in Gold Boots. It's a pretty accurate title for the beginning because literally the first thing we get is a girl in gold boots dancing around to the song Girl in Gold Boots by the band The Gold Boot Girl Guys or some shit like that.
So this guy's name is Chris Horton, and he was a musician. And Michaels puts him in as himself because he says, like, he gets that scene towards the end where he walks in and he's like, hi, I'm Chris Horton. As if you will need to remember my name because I'm going to be a big star.
Right.
And they did cut an album off this, but then it disintegrated.
Well, I hope so because it stinks. Girl in Gold Boots is a terrible song.
It's worse if you have to listen to it 7 times.
Right.
I'm just saying, I think the worst one was the love song where they superimpose her face off to the...
Critter's love song. We'll get to that because that's a pretty important piece of this movie. We got a lot of notes, so I'm gonna kind of schmev through some of this. But it should also be noted that the girl in gold boots is the only girl in gold boots. Everybody else gets silver boots. So my question to you guys is, if the number 1 is gold, number 2 is silver, is there bronze boots someplace, like down the street?
There's brown boots at the shit house.
I turned my boots brown after I lodged it right up somebody's ass. You know,
You're having a lot of ass talk
well,
today.
I kicked that ass. I didn't put stuff. Well, I put my boot in it. You know, then and then I tried pulling out, and my boot came off. Now I'm down a boot.
Now you're down a boot. You're like, oh, God damn it.
All right, so
you wonder about the payment of the silver boot girls because Gold Boots is the chief of the dancers, and she gets paid in having a place to live and quaaludes. So they all must have to sleep in a pile in the closet, and their payment is not getting beaten.
Yeah, I've got some money questions later about this film. Obviously, we didn't adjust for inflation, but still, there's some questionable money decisions here. We get introduced to our heroine, Michelle, who works with her dad at a diner that they don't own. But it seems like they walked in one day after getting fired from their last job. They can only work together, even though they hate each other. And they're like, hey, we're a father and daughter duo. You need father and daughter duo only accepting applications from father-daughter duos. I don't know what the fuck is happening.
It's in the middle of nowhere, and it's a caretaker situation, right? So there's a place to live out back. You got to run the place. You get this much is your wage. I'm going to show up once every 3 months and check on things. It's sort of like The Shining kind of a deal.
Oh,
they're in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So they operate this. They've been fired a couple times. You can't find anybody else to operate this gas pump with some food on the side of it in the middle of West Texas. And if you've ever been to West Texas, there's not a lot there besides dirt.
I heard they got scorpions.
No, okay. Well, then that's something.
Armadillos.
Dillis.
Yeah, and, they probably eat them at that diner.
They might. Dillo's supposed to be delicious.
Yeah, that you know what? Now that you bring that up, Sam, that is disappointing about this movie. There was no pet armadillo in this cafe.
Yeah, you always have to have it's a staple of cinemas, pet armadillos when you're in West Texas. Every movie has that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't in West Texas either. They were just down the road.
Right, yeah, they're in Encino.
They used a line to mask that it was Texas. Like, oh, this is obviously Texas.
Yeah,
correct? There's a map of California behind you.
the fucking bear flag is flying over the goddamn thing, right? Jesus.
Actually, they covered the bear flag with a sign that said tacos.
Well, their special was beef stew.
Ew. I'll have the special. Like, beef stew is what you, feed people out on the range. Like, you're moving a herd of cattle from Lonesome Dove up to ye olde Montana. Stew is what Cookie makes. You don't serve that as the special? Come on, man.
Did you see that the special cost 65 cents?
Yeah. Again, I'm questioning the money stuff here because, none of the money lines up. Then a car pulls up. I don't know what kind of car this is. I almost thought it was a Buick, but it's an older model. It's a late model Buick convertible of some sort.
Yeah, it could have been a Chrysler.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And we get introduced.
If it had the I don't remember if it had the silver piece on the center of the hood. If it did, that was the one of the Chrysler. If it didn't, it was a Dodge, probably.
Yeah, just a big car is what it was. And we get introduced to Buzz, who I think is supposed to be a cool guy, but I kind of think he looks more like a door-to-door knife salesman.
Later in the film, I'll decide that he's actually middle management at a warehouse by his apparel.
Yeah.
I thought his name was Buzzer.
No, Buzz.
Just Buzz.
Just Buzz. B-U-Z, not even two Z's. Yeah. Like, I guess he was too buzzy.
I know. When he got out of the car, I'm with Sam. My immediate thought was, this man went out for a pack of smokes and never went home.
No, that's cooler than this guy. Like, that's pretty cool. This guy is seriously so not cool that he couldn't even do that, Jaggy.
I had no idea why this guy was cast in here until later when he starts just traversing obstacles as if they're not there. And I'm like, oh, he's a bit of a dapper Dan, but he's got wiry athleticism. This guy can hop a fence like nobody's fucking business.
Sure. So he goes in. He wants some pie and coffee. He's on the road. And another guy comes in, Critter. We find out his name later, and he's asking for directions, and he's very eloquent and well-spoken. He's like, hey, lady, you got, you're kind of my kind of swinging gal, but he says it in an intelligent way. And she is like, two men. And they are giving each other the stink eye, and it's revealed that Critter's sitting on a pile of cash because he's only got $100 bill. So they're like, interesting. That guy's got a lot of cash. And then weirdly, a cop pulls up and nothing happens. Like the whole scene moves to this cop pulling up, and then the cop just drives away later. Like, I don't know what the fucking significance of the cop was.
It also sets up weird where he's obviously going to rob the place.
Right.
And then he decides to settle for kidnapping. But then the situation works out where he's just going to be able to keep doing his thing without committing a crime. It's very strange.
Right. Well, I can explain the cop.
Okay.
So the guy's getting ready to rob not only the diner now, but Hershey's bar guy, Critter, right?
Okay. All right.
And the cop pulls up and Critter goes, are they here for you, buddy? And he was like, and Michelle goes, oh no, he just parks there all the time to catch speeders.
Right.
So it stopped him from robbing Critter.
Okay. All right. Right. There wasn't dialogue to establish any of that because we don't even know if Buzz is a good guy or a bad guy at this point in time.
No, I just repeated the dialogue to you.
Yeah, but the dialogue you just repeated means absolutely nothing. They're just being dicks to each other because they both want to bang Michelle. Hey, you criminal. I bet you're a criminal because you're checking out my lady. He's like, oh, I bet you're some fucking dirty hippie, you piece of shit. Quit checking out my lady. And then they get their dicks out. That's what I think. All right, anyways. So Buzz is like, hey, I like the way you move. I'm going to make you a star. And she's like, really? Yeah. Let's go to, weird voice there. Let's go to Hollywood, and I'll introduce you to my sister, who's a swinging go-go dancer, and she'll make you one of the top in town. She's like, oh, thank God. I've been working with my dad for a long-ass time, and I hate him, and he's a piece of shit, and he slaps me around and calls me a tramp, so let's fucking go. I'll go pack my bags right now. I am back with my bags already. I don't know how I moved that fast. Get in the car.
Yeah.
I mean, she comes out with her bags in lightning speed. He didn't even have time to have more coffee. Then she's like, go ahead and help yourself to coffee and more pie. I'll go get my bags. And he's like, cool. And then she does that quick take where she's back with her bags. And he's like, fuck, that's amazing.
Yeah. It's also interesting that this situation is predicated on the idea that you need a connection to be able to dance at a club.
Right?
You don't just go to the club, show up, have your tits showing mostly, and they hire you.
Also, it's a dance club. It's not just a club where they have dancers perform. there's people actually dancing there. Like, they go there to recreationally dance. You could just show up with your tits out and not even ask for an audition. Just, be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then have the club owner be like, hey, I got to get some of that. You don't need connections. But I guess in 1968, California, go-go dancing was such a scene that, you got to know, you got to be in the... You got to know somebody.
They definitely made it seem like it was competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was trying out for the ballet and she was going to need an introduction to get in the door.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No.
It's a lot of shared themes with showgirls.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there is a lot. Yeah.
And Buffalo 66. This was a very weird picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I almost felt like it was a mashup of like an Ed Wood and Russ Meyer type thing. Maybe those are the same guy. Anyways.
They are. His name's Ted V. Michaels, and he's got a Salvador Dali mustache.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so they get in the car and they drive down on the road. A little bit later, they pull over at some snack shop because this is before convenience store, so I don't know what this place is. And there's some bikers that pull up and they hassle them. And they're like, "Hey, you are leather guy. You look like somebody we should fuck with." Even though there's like, he's probably the least person the actual bikers would fuck with when there's other people to fuck with. Like, why him? He's young. He's wearing leather jacket. You don't know what's underneath that jacket. Pick an easier mark, dum-dums.
Yeah, he's obviously, there's something wrong with him because he's wearing a jacket in the southern U.S. in the summer.
Hell, it's not the summer, Sam. We find out later. But anyway, I also like that these guys are really not hot men.
Oh, there was nothing sexier than when the first one gets off of his bike and he has the nipple chain going from one side of his jacket to the other, and no shirt on, and a hairy belly, and his belly is hanging over his belt buckle.
Yeah, it's he's got really bad comedy body, but he when he steps off his bike, he swings his jacket open so you can be like, "Whoa, sweet huge tummy, dude."
Yeah, these are probably the real bikers that Ted V. Michaels bought the drugs from.
Right. I'll make you a star. So they give him some grief in the restaurant. He pours a beer on their bike as he's leaving, which is not pour it in the gas tank, or if you're going to be a dick, don't just pour beer over paint. That washes off.
Also, it's that'll teach him.
Yeah. Ooh.
And that the guy walks up and he doesn't go, "Hey, now my bike smells better." Because before he washed it off with that beer, there was a 3/4 inch gel coat of just ball cream because I haven't had a bath
that
in
big
6
tummies.
months.
That big tummy's just hanging out on top of the gas tank. Just sliming. Like a slug. All right, so they're pissed. "Hey, God damn it!" And they chase after him. And then he pulls over. And he's like, "Keep the car running, baby." And he walks out into the street slowly, like he's about to have a fucking high noon showdown with these guys, or some Brock Sampson shit. And they pull up and they're like, "What are you doing standing in the road?" He pulls out a fucking hand cannon and shoots out their tires. And I was like, "Oh, that's it? That's dumb."
I also like the biker grabbed a chain like he was going to ride by him and chain him.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And the whole chain thing, if you've ever seen someone in a movie use a chain as a weapon, articulate or competently, they're usually wearing a really big glove, especially if it's a small chain, because if he was actually to do that, he's probably going to screw up his face forever when he hits the guy. He's
Right.
also going to lose every fucking one of his fingers.
Absolutely. So they're done. They're not in the movie anymore. I was like, "Oh, that's anticlimactic. Bummer." Then I guess he lets her drive, and she immediately crashes into a ditch, and he's like, "Damn you! You crashed us. Let's make out." And they just "Come here, baby."
Yeah. Also, I'll get us out of this mess with the reverse gear.
Right?
Don't worry about it. I've got it. I'm very manly.
Right? Damn women drivers can't back up. So now they're an item, and he's got hardcore feelings for her, I guess. They pick up Critter, who's his motorcycle's broken down on the road, and they're like, he's got money. Let's get him. He's got all the bread. And so they drive on down the road, but he's got some sort of towing mechanism for his motorcycle. Have you ever seen this, Sam?
Yep.
Huh. In all my years, I've never seen it.
I think they're illegal. I think they've been illegal for a long time, but
Okay.
you used to be able to tow a bike like that.
Huh. Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's just behind the car. Crazy. So they warp to California very quickly from Texas. Hey, we're in California at the beach immediately. And suddenly they've got a 6-wheel bathtub.
This thing we have to talk about is the Danger Mobile.
It's the death machine.
It is a death machine. It was designed by someone who was deranged and on LSD.
Yeah.
It's a skid steer 6-wheeler. The steering is brake steering, but it's not even in front of you in the form of pedals or a wheel. It's in between the two riders, so you have to reach beside you and then just decide which side that you're going to use brakes on to steer. Like, how did no one die?
Well, we don't have these now, so I'm assuming some people did die.
Yeah, well, I mean, just in the filming.
Oh, right.
Like, it should have killed everyone making the movie.
It's fucking dangerous as shit.
And it kind of seemed like they just happened upon this guy. Like
Who's
in real
this
life.
guy?
Like he was just down there at the beach and they went to go shoot and they're like, hey, you want to be in a movie?
Right.
Can we borrow this dune buggy thing?
Because he doesn't even have any lines, but in the shot, it seemed like he is now part of this crew. Like, who's this dude with this weird thing? Is that his weird thing? What the hell? No, I totally see that. Like, oh, we got to go shoot at the beach. What's that thing? We got to have that in the film. Just keep rolling, even if somebody's head comes off.
Well, it's just a weird cut, right? Like all of a sudden they're on the beach and they're in the death trap. That looked super fun. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of looked like I would try it.
I would not let you.
The 3-wheeler was a lot of fun before I crashed it that first time. Then I was really ginger about how I rode it. And then one day I just looked at it and I said, I'm sorry, old friend, but I'm never riding you again.
Yeah.
You're going to kill me.
It's going to kill you. No, you're not allowed to get in one of these ever, Shaggy.
I would think that these have been destroyed, hopefully,
Probably.
in fear of the human race
Yeah.
and its survival.
All right, so Buzz goes up. It's thirsty work riding around one of these things, so he's got to go get a drink. And of course, Critter puts the moves on Michelle, and they're making out. And Buzz shows back up, and he's like, "Hey, get your hands off my lady!" Punches out Critter, and she screams in the middle of it, "Stop it! Stop it! I just want to be a dancer!" and runs off. Okay.
You just keep to it, Billy Elliot. You'll make it happen.
Oh man, the dialogue is so bonkers in this movie.
And this is about the 5th time that I've written down the note, please leave, Critter.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're bringing this movie down at the beginning. Later, Critter comes into his own in a weird sort of way, but we care about talking about the robbery. It doesn't really plot relevant. Okay. So some stuff happens on the way to LA. They eventually get there, but we're going to skip over the stuff that's not plot relevant. It is Christmas time, Sam. When they drive into LA, there's a Christmas song singing and there's lit up Christmas trees. So technically his jacket isn't inappropriate.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I like how they seem to be on the slummy side of LA.
Oh,
There's like Playboy auditions and
that's not slummy. That's
no,
Playboy.
it was on a sign that looked like it belonged to an abandoned warehouse.
Oh, okay. Well, that's slummy. Yeah.
Oh.
Like,
Well,
hey, come show your boobs at this place.
Yeah, Hugh Hefner's place. Yeah, this is the mansion.
yeah.
Made it. I'm on 35th.
Let's be realistic. The scummiest that Times Square ever got had nothing on the strip in the 60s and early 70s.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I think it's Sunset Strip is what they're on, but it's probably pretty shitty back in the 60s. So they pull up to a haunted house and they're like, "Wee!" And they get out and walk through a haunted house. And I'm like, what the fuck are they doing at this haunted house? Is this just some psychedelic bullshit that we got to go through? Because all these movies have some weird sequence where you just got to have some rando shit. But it's not a haunted house.
Well, and my first question was, well, my second question was definitely that haunted house question, right? But my next one was, wasn't Critter gonna fuck off once you guys got here?
Right? What are you still doing here, Critter?
Yeah, like you said, hey, in 20 minutes we're gonna be to LA, and then me and Terry the bike are out of here.
Uh-huh.
But he's still like fucking hanging out.
I like haunted houses. Can I come?
Yeah. Like, what? And the sun went down like super fast.
Right.
I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but it was like
that's
20 minutes, pitch dark. It's midnight now.
That is also true.
And we're going into the haunted house with a Dracula that only has 4 fingers on one hand.
It's a shitty haunted house.
Yeah.
I would want my money back. But it's not just a haunted house. In the back, it's got the fucking club from the beginning of the movie. What?
Yeah, but now they
What
pan
is
out and
going
you can
on?
see that the band is actually playing in a band shell that is a monster head
Yeah, but
with teeth. And there's a skeleton on the
Ted-
ceiling, so it's still a haunted house.
So Michaels is really very good in terms of budget art direction, and he's got a real hard-on for the macabre. And so a lot of his pictures just have this shit in it. And apparently at one point he turned his house into like a fucking spooky castle. But it wasn't like a huge house. It was just like a house in LA that he turned into a haunted castle.
Yeah, but if I'm living in LA and I want to go to a dance club, I don't want to fucking walk through a spooky ghost house every time I have to fucking go to the dance club. Can I just come in through the back door? I just want to go to the dance part. I know it's your spooky stuff is your thing, but I'm actually here to try to pick up chicks and, not deal with fucking shitty mannequins. Come on.
Well, then you have
But
to ask
you-
yourself, right? What kind of people are going to this place? Like
What kind of
realistically,
people are going to this place?
like people that think that they're vampires.
Uh-huh.
That's going to be one of them, right?
Right.
And then you're going to have the goth kids that don't care.
Right. But they're not going to go there. They don't. Goth kids don't go dancing.
Well, vampires do.
Well, yeah, when they're cool, when they're trendy.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Also, when you get into the dance club, you're like, you know what? I think I'm going to take another spin through the haunted house before I leave and at least get my $5 worth.
All right, so this whole time, the girl in the golden boots is Buzz's sister. That's who they're here to see and hook her up. She's Joni. She's the top go-go dancer in all of LA, I guess. And we get introduced to Leo, the club owner. He's got quite a mustache and quite a stink eye. This guy's very stink eye.
That's Marty.
Yeah, dude, that's the henchman that has the black eyebrows.
No, they both have mustaches.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, it kind of sounded like you were describing my favorite guy.
They're both pretty stink eye guys.
Yeah, but the one's got the eyebrows to pull it all off.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
Yeah,
he looks like Dastardly Dan from those old cartoons.
right.
If he would have had a top hat on.
That's William Baghdad. He is a veteran actor as well, but he kicked around with Michaels for quite a while. He's in a lot of his pictures, and this guy has got it going on.
Yeah, he's fucking
Like-
crazy. So, like, he's hassling fucking Buzz, like, I see you in here, Buster. What are you doing in my dance club? And he's like, I'm standing here?
Well, he calls him a broke ass.
Yeah, what the
And
fuck?
tells him, like, you obviously don't have any money. Get the fuck out. Go
Right,
watch TV at
right.
home.
Dude, I'm with a hot chick, and this guy who actually has a shit ton of money. I don't know what the fucking beef is with me, but either way, I don't have time to talk to you. I'm going to go talk to my sister, and he starts walking, and then Leo's like, no, you can't go back there. Follow me. We're going back there. What the hell is happening? So they go back and they talk to Joni, and they, hey, I love you. I'm so glad to see you. And then Leo's like, all right, now that you've had your happy reunion, it's time to give me that gun. I don't allow guns in my club. Okay, when can I have it back? Never.
Don't you think you would have asked that question before you handed over your gun? Like, he's not your teacher that she has to give you your cell phone back at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, apparently your teacher's not going to do that. He's like, this is the type of town where only the cops have guns, so you can't ever have one again. No, I know a little bit about America, but that is not how this works, Buster.
He's like, Heston, get in here.
Yeah, right. From my cold, dead hands. And then he immediately is like, blows it off. And he's like, so anyways, this is Michelle. She wants to be a cool dancer. Can you hook her up? And she's like, yeah, you'll have a chance to perform tomorrow. And she's like, I just want an audition. Fine. You'll have an audition tomorrow. God.
She's like, fuck off, bitch. I am the only brunette in this entire building.
Right.
Like, I've made all the other bitches dye their hair blonde and their pubes blonde just in case there's a pube slip.
Uh-huh.
And I don't need no fucking...
Slip.
It could happen. Did you see those bikinis that they have?
My one pube came out.
Well, that's all they leave down in LA. I've heard they're very progressive. They only have like one pube that they leave, and they're like, look at how long my one pube is.
That is so weird, Jack.
They go to the waxing place, and they're like, don't touch my one pube. Make sure you put some gel or something on it so that it doesn't come off with the wax. Yeah, right. Need my one pube. That's how I make my living.
So weird.
As long as a spaghetti noodle and weird sex acts, you can like swallow it and pull it out your nose.
Ah, gross.
Gross. Well,
Yep.
when you're running out of floss, I'm just saying.
They call that move the sunset nasal floss.
So if you only have one pube and you get pubic lice, but there's only room for one pubic lice, what's the singular of lice? Lie?
Louse.
Louse. Oh yeah, you got one pubic louse. There you go. Good job, Sam. You know English.
I've got louse.
Yeah.
What? I've only got one pube, so I've only got one louse. I don't think
His
that's
name
how
is
that works.
Gary.
Yeah, his name's Gary and he's very lonely.
Thinking about growing out a second pube so he can have a friend.
It's like tree houses. They're like Ewoks.
Yeah. We just tie them together at the top.
They also love eating stormtroopers. It's really weird. So Critter's finally like, all right, well, this is all wrapped up. I guess I'll wander off.
He's like, I'm a loser who has no prospects.
Right.
And everybody else is getting exactly what they wanted out of this. I'm going to go kill myself in the parking lot.
I'm gonna go now unless somebody stops me from going. Nope, no takers. Okay, well, I'll just keep walking back pretty slowly in case someone... Door slams behind him. God damn it.
Yeah. Then he starts whispering, I guess you won't have old Critter to kick around anymore.
But Michelle goes after him finally. And he's like, come with me, baby. You don't belong here. This place is a shithole. And she's like, Critter, I do have feelings for you. It's not that I like Buzz. It's that I gotta dance.
And then he's like, okay, so you're going to stay here then in this seedy ass, weird haunted house nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So instead of fucking off like we thought he was going to do like 20 miles into LA.
Right.
He gets a goddamn job as a janitor.
Fucking janitor.
He shaves off his mustache and becomes a goddamn janitor.
Like she hasn't even gotten her job yet. The whole reason that they're here is so that she can try to be a go-go dancer, and fucking Critter's in there being like, dude, janitor, I want janitor, one for hire, please, me.
I just love urinal cakes. They're the tastiest.
And so Michelle is up on stage being taught how to go-go dance so poorly, it's insanity by Joni.
Hey,
Well,
you got to pop
you
your
gotta-
elbow out.
You can't just be a dancer. You got to start with the basics, which is convulsing on barbiturates.
Right? And this is like, I'm very confused by the instructioning that's happening. Because, like, you know, I understand there's some choreography. You know, they're a group of line dancers, essentially. And, you know, you got, hey, we do this, and then we do the twist, and then the barrel roll, and you take off your hat, and you go, woo! But what she's teaching her is not what Michelle does later. Like, she's not the front and center lady. She's one of the silver booters, even though she has gold boots.
Well, maybe they ran out of silver boots and they're like, look, we're going to have to give her some gold boots to wear.
Maybe those are the bronze boots, because bronze and gold are a little, similar.
Oh,
color.
yeah. They're like, you got to start.
Critter's got the brown boots on.
Right.
He's cleaning the shitter.
He's got his sad pants on, too, though.
Because he had burritos last night.
Right.
It's his.
Oh.
The bathroom is his own fault. He's drowning in irony.
It's job security. Oh, man, somebody wrecked this place. Boy, I guess I've got a lot of work to do today, don't I, boss? It's like somebody ate 3.5 burritos that were microwaved on a Samsung microwave on the counter over there. You know what I mean? And now Buzz has got a job there too, because he's like the driver guy. He's like, I guess that's what you call him. He's the driver.
He's a drug pusher. He's a mule.
I think
Mule, thank you.
where the hierarchy of how this works is that Leo is the man and his man is Marty, and now that Buzz is on board, Buzz is just Marty's man.
Marty's man, right? Yeah, exactly. Oh, Jesus. So
And I don't think anybody gets paid.
No, you never see anybody get a paycheck. And it seems like Buzz and Michelle are just freeloading off of his sister.
yeah, they're both living at his sister's place. Well, I don't know where Critter's fucking staying. I'm assuming the bathroom.
No, he has a shack.
A
A
shack?
shack room, like where he keeps his mops and buckets. He's like Willie the groundskeeper from The Simpsons. And he's got a little cot bed, and old Terry's in there with him.
Yeah, and his guitar.
Yep.
Sad songs every night.
When he gets real depressed, he just opens the can of bleach and just sticks his head over it to get some sleep.
Oh, man. All right, so these guys are working a drug deal, but they've got some guy that's listening in on them, so he knows about them doing, drug deals, and is like, oh, okay, I got these guys. That'll come back into play later.
Well, it's like, okay, so I want to talk about this, though.
Yeah, okay.
Because it seemed like weird drug guy pulls up, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this weird car.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody pops out of the trunk with a headset on and a listening device.
No, that was.
We have to, we have to save
Willie.
the listening device business for later.
Yeah, that's
But yeah, they're
Willie,
getting
though.
spied on.
It's not, the hippie doesn't pull up. The drug buyer doesn't pull up in that car. That is the guy that was driving the car.
Oh, I was really confused.
Yeah.
I thought that was hippie drug guy and that
No, that was the listening device guy.
listening device guy was sitting in the trunk.
Harry or whatever his name is.
Harry,
anyways.
yeah, but we have to wait for Harry to reveal how deep Harry's scheme ran.
Back at the club, the ladies are still flopping around, and Critter goes and takes a guitar break, because I guess you can do that when you're the janitor. And then Buzz comes in, and they start giving each other the stink eye. Hey, you're working here? Yeah, you're working here. You better stay away from Michelle. You stay away from Michelle. My cock's out is yours? Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's a weird rattlesnake story.
Right?
You're too quick to anger. If you were more like a rattlesnake, more like a blind rattlesnake. Like, what?
What?
You just snap at everything, man.
How about you shut the fuck up, Critter?
Yeah.
Your name's
Critter's
fucking
still on
Critter.
break.
Critter Jones.
Yeah, Critter's still on break because he's actually figured out the secret of janitorial services on the Sunset Strip.
Mm-hmm.
He just dumps Cloak on the floor of the bathroom and the fucking thing cleans itself.
Yeah, right. All right. So that night, Michelle is now an official gold boot girl or bronze boot girl. She's part of the team though, and all the dudes are giving more stink eyes to each other. Buzz is stink eyeing Critter, and Critter stink eyeing Buzz, and Leo is stink eyeing the girls, and Marty's stink eyeing everybody, and it's just a stink eye fest.
I think that Marty actually has a contagious form of the stink eye.
It's like yawning.
Or pink
stink
eye.
eye.
Well, he does it with his mouth open the whole time.
Leo does.
Yeah, he's like
oh man, it's so weird. But Leo tells Michelle that, hey, you're the tops. I really like the way you're dancing. You're gonna take over tomorrow night because Joni needs a vacation. So you're doing good. You get to be the top one for tonight. And Joni's like, I need more drugs, please.
Yeah, I don't think that was actually in the movie, but
Right?
she was just like, I can't wait. Okay, I've been on set now for 10 minutes and you promised me drugs.
We're running out of lewds. Get me the lewds. And then Leo's like, hey, I'm having a party at my place tonight. Why don't you come by? Sure, I'll come by. And then she brings her fucking friends with them. No, not my employees. I don't want my men here. Get out of here. The janitor? Why is my janitor here? Get out of here.
And then he's like, Marty, get that kid out of here. And he's like, well, I don't want to do anything, so I'm going to make him do the stuff you tell me to do. So he's staying too. All right, whatever.
Go sit by my mom.
And this party, yeah, fucking Buzz has to sit. I mean, this party blows ass. Like, it's
Yeah,
the
it
worst
does.
party. These two bongo guys sit there and play. That's all they have two bongos. That's the entire band. And all they do is go tuka, 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 for hours.
Yeah. This is one that if you walk into and you're on drugs already, you're like going straight through. You go out into the terrace, backyard, whatever there is outside, right out this next drug wave, then I'm walking right out the front door.
Right? I mean, it sucks. Literally, like, everybody there, like, Michelle's obviously the hottest lady there, which is fine. But everybody else are just old moms. Like, what the fuck? Leo, your party sucks.
I thought you were having a party.
Oh, I didn't realize your mom was visiting.
What is this fucking bridge club? What the fuck, Leo? This place sucks.
Well, then Leo's like, hey, why don't you go dance and show me what you can do?
Right? Yeah.
Okay. And then she just starts
Flopping around.
like she's a stripper
Uh-huh.
that has a bikini top on,
Uh-huh.
but she's wearing a dress,
Mhm.
and then she's just kind of shaking what she's got at every man in the room.
Right.
Even the ones where the old ladies are like, get the fuck off of him, tramp.
Yeah, right.
Your dad was right. You are a tramp. And then they slap her in the face. And
Yeah, she's like, it took me 15 years to put that dick permanently to sleep. Do not wake it up.
All right, so now she's like the main attraction. Like, everybody fucking loves Michelle. She's the number one go-go dancer. They got to have more Michelle because she flops around better than Joni did, I guess. But Buzz goes and makes another drug delivery, and he then gets chased by the listening device guy into a corner. And we're led to believe that this guy is a cop and he's going to bust him, but that's not what happens. And we'll come back to that because there's some time, some stuff happens in between. We find out what happened to Buzz.
And how the fuck does Buzz not get away from this old bastard?
Right?
Like, really?
Yeah.
because he keeps stopping in the alleyway.
To look back. Oh.
Like he's out of breath and he just kind of stands there like, is that old guy going to come around the corner anytime
Yeah,
soon? Because this
right.
trash stinks.
This is more Critter's territory than mine.
I don't like Critter.
Speaking of old Critter, he's gotten picked up by the Gold Boot Boys. They're like, hey, like the sound of your tunes. Why don't you come jam with us? And he's like, yeah, awesome. Finally, my big break. I'm going to be in a band. Nope. Sure not, Critter.
This was kind of sad because the next cut to the next scene is the band on stage playing his song.
And he's not
And you're
there.
looking for him on stage and nope. He's in the back. He's got a Star Trek shirt on.
Yes, he does.
And he's packing up old Terry.
Uh-huh.
He made $100.
Right.
At least he got paid money.
Right, which is the first time ever. So here's where the money problem comes in. Because, yes, they bought his song for $100, and he wants to split it with Michelle. So he's down to $50, and she says the line, "Wow, nobody's ever paid me $50 before." What kind of money are you making? Because I understand inflation, but like beef stew costs 65 cents. That's, if you're not making, like 3 meals a day worth of money, like that's like 2 weeks worth of work, lady. $50. You've never made 50.
No.
You're the number one go-go dancer.
You're not even getting paid for handies back there?
Right?
Nobody gets paid except Leo. And then he's just like, yeah, sleep wherever. I went down to the pay and pack. That fridge is stuffed full of burritos. And there's a toaster oven right there. Go to town.
Like when he pulled out that $100 bill at the beginning of the movie, and she says, "I've never seen $100 before." I can understand that, but she's like a $100 bill, but she's clearly seen and moved at least $100 in her life. I mean, that's $10 a week. That's all you got to make. That's 10 weeks. It's 2 months. You've made that.
Not all at once.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Whatever. The money just doesn't line up. And he's like, "Come with me," and she's like, "No." Very like really dramatic dialogue here. It's pretty fucking nuts. I don't even know if I can replicate it.
It's great because Critter's like, "No, I can't love you because you don't know my dark secret." What's your dark secret? I got drafted and I don't want to go.
Right?
Because he hasn't dodged the draft yet. He's like it's like 2 months out. And she's like, "Oh, your dark secret is you're doing what everybody that got drafted did. Not want to go and then eventually go." Nice. What a dark secret, Critter.
Yeah. I've got the dialogue here, or at least some of it. She's like, "Leo says I'm really going places. Just because he deals in dope, that doesn't tarnish me." "Oh, that's what you think, baby. Tarnish isn't a strong enough word for what he'll do to you. Try corrode for size." Go fuck off, both of you.
Yeah. I'm glad you got through freshman English, Critter.
And then he goes outside and plays his sad song in the rain while we get side by side of Michelle doing go-go dancing. Oh, he's thinking of her. Poor Critter.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of impressed that he's able to pull off a post-production double exposure this good, to be honest, with everything else that's happening. Because it's 16. I think he had one lens. I think this whole movie is shot in 16 millimeter, and he probably only has a 45 or a 50 millimeter lens, and that's it. And there was other shots that were outside that he was using the indoor balanced film stock because he couldn't get anything else. Right. So, yeah, like he was able to pull off a double exposure in post. This guy's got some fucking talent.
Yeah, he does. Sure, there. Yeah. Other than his writing and his choice in acting people and like not knowing what dancing looks like.
The drugs, Justin, the drugs.
Yeah, I know. Dude, God damn it, the drugs. They just fuck everything up. Including your beautiful mind. We'll get to that later. So Buzz brings this dude into the office. He's back. He's like, "Hey, Leo, you gotta meet this guy. He is cool as shit." I mean, first I was looking at him like, dude, why is this vacuum cleaner guy salesman following me? But I got to know him a little bit. You should check him out. He is fucking rad. And Leo's like, "Get this fucking guy out of here."
And then, in traditional old bag fashion, he just starts talking about nonsense.
Yeah,
and
right.
Leo's just like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about?"
Buzz is like, hey, tell him what you told me." "Well, once upon a time, my brother and I were walking along the river and we saw a snake and he got very scared of it, but I held him in my arms. And later, when he was an old guy like me, he said, 'Thanks a lot for that day. You're a good brother.'" Cool.
Yeah. And then he tells you how like life works for a little bit. You're like, it doesn't work like that, old guy, but thanks. And you don't realize the whole time he's selling you a vacuum.
Right.
But instead of a vacuum, this whole time he's been setting you up for like, "Oh, I'm going to pick the lock to your desk." And they're all amazed. And everybody else is like, "Yeah, okay. All right. That's all right."
I counted down though when he went to go pick the lock just to see if he actually did it
he was
in under
like,
10 seconds.
I can do it in 10 seconds, and a jail cell is much tougher.
Yeah, he did it in like 6.
Yeah, he was pretty fast at lock picking. But he's got this job. There's a bunch of drugs or something. I don't know what that the LA County has got, and they put it in a jail cell instead of the evidence room. I don't know. It's 1968. Maybe we didn't have such a thing as an evidence room, but I'm pretty sure we had evidence rooms back then. But it's in a jail cell. He's always in jail. He can get in jail pretty easy by getting real shit-faced and, I guess, going and picking a fight or something. I don't know. But he's going to get back in jail. He'll do janitor duty, which then he can, like, go outside and tell Buzz, hey, come on in, man. Dress like a bum or a janitor like me. Come in. We'll take out the trash. We'll break into that jail cell. Get that stuff. And you get on out of here with the drugs, and I'll just see you guys later.
Question. Why do they need this old coot? Because...
For the lockpicking.
Yeah, but it also just kind of seemed like he could just reach his hand through the bar and grab the bag because it was like right fucking there.
That's a good point.
Better question, why does the old guy need these guys?
Right?
He can just walk out with it himself and be fine. And this is where we have to discuss Harry Blass and his grand scheme, because we now know that he's just a drunk that gets thrown in the drunk tank so frequently that he lives half of his life in jail.
Right. So he might as well be a cop. No.
And
he's a jailbird. That's the farthest thing away from being a cop.
He's hatched a plan to retire by stealing all of the drugs, and I guess he needs them to move the drugs for the money, and he's only going to take $35,000 for his part of it.
Uh-huh.
But he has pulled an FBI stakeout on these guys.
Right.
Like, he's done better detective work than most of the detectives.
And, like, why do a stakeout? I mean, like, does he just sit on random street corners and wait for drug deals to happen? Like, hey, good thing I'm picking this one up with my listening device because I just happened to be cruising by and there's a car with the hood open. Maybe that was like a sign. Maybe it's, I don't know, like, hey, here's where to buy drugs if there's 2 dudes with underneath a hood or something. I don't fucking know. Like, what do you just go to him and be like, hey, dude, I am wanting to screw myself out of a lot of money. Here's a plan. But like all this stakeout stuff, it's really weird.
All right, I think we need to have a field trip. Well, the 3 of us will go to L.A. And we'll look for 2 men under a hood of a car, and we'll ask them for drugs.
Maybe we should
see what happens.
Maybe we should just put our hood up, and some guy comes up and he's like, "Hey, I'll, let's do this." We're just like, "Okay, give us the drugs."
And he's like, "You guys watched that goddamn girl in gold boots, didn't you?"
Yep, sure did. And then he slips us, a kilo. Or I don't know how much he slipped. I don't know anything about drugs. Slips us a bottle of pills.
Sure.
Yeah.
We end up there. We're all just yelling, it's hot and smoggy. And then someone shoots us.
Ah, shit.
It's probably more realistic.
What am I doing in South Beach? Or not South Beach. South Park. South Park, LA, believe it or not, is the highest murder rate in all of LA right now is a place called South Park. Anyways, so they go in, the job goes pretty well, but I don't get this part because Harry is like, hey, come meet this guy. This is Buzz. And Buzz is like visibly disturbed by meeting this guy in prison. And he's like, why did you do that? I didn't want to meet anybody. He's like, yeah, that's my security precaution. Because if you guys do anything to me, now I got a witness that you were involved. Okay, pretty smart, Harry. I was going to beat the shit out of you to death, but now I can't because then I'll be found out. Good thinking. You're a smart man. No, I'm just going to go ahead and kill you. Fuck it.
Yeah. And that you have that problem with this scene. My biggest problem is that he just piggybacks Buzz in and the guard's like, extra guy. Right? Whatever.
Whatevs. Oh, we got a janitor cloning system out there? Cool. Make me a janitor. I want a janitor for my house. Just hit the button, have another janitor.
It kind of does seem like a janitor's life is very, very cool in this movie.
Right?
Yeah.
Some very fucking cool janitors.
Oh, man.
They like the guard supervisor shows up. And he's like, what the heck is that? And he just looks up and says, oh, we got extra guys today.
Yeah.
And the supervisor's like, oh, that's awesome.
Hey, can you go outside
See you
and get more
later.
guys? There's just a pile of guys out there. Just get another guy. And then Buzz gets out of there way too easily. Like, this is the most breakoutable jail that's ever been caught on film. I mean, they might as well have a ladder going over the fence.
It's probably a high school.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not actually prison, Jackie.
And that's the detention center because they're in a scummy part of LA.
So that whole heist is done. Good job, Danny Ocean. You suck compared to Buzz. Back at the club, Joni is having a discussion with Michelle about how she used to have such a pretty mind. My mind was so pretty.
You know what? It can't have been that pretty if she walked in there and got a job. She like walked through that front door and said, I want to work here. It wasn't that pretty of a mind.
I had the most prettiest mind of all the minds. And then she falls over and ODs.
And my favorite is that when Leo comes in, he's like, fuck it. She's done this before. She'll wake up on her own.
She'll be fine.
If not, we'll just roll her out with the trash in the morning.
Yeah, we just stick her. We'll get the janitor to clean her up with a mop.
That's right.
She does not die, though. She wakes up, because that's how you cure overdoses, is you just wake up.
No, you just dump Coke on over her and it'll clean itself up.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
What happened to her? She's in like 8 people's noses. It's fine.
And she's screaming, you get out of here! Get out of here! And Leo's like, no, you get out of here. And she's like, I'm already out of here. What?
No, you're not. She has to be really fucking drunk in this scene.
Right.
That's all I can figure. Also, did you notice the giant horrendous pee stain on the roof? Like the leak stain behind it. You're just like, ew, yuck.
You're like, where the hell is this? Is this the warehouse that the Playboy bunnies were supposed to audition in?
Exactly. Might as well be. And so they go back to the office to play, some nice more pool. And Buzz is there with the deals done. And Critter comes in. He's like, hey, look, I'm not here about any of your guys' business. Michelle and I are just going to go ahead and leave. And they're like, oh, hell no, you're not going anywhere, mister. Get over there. And then Critter proceeds to beat the shit out of 3 guys. When did that happen? Critter's good at fighting?
Yeah.
Well, that's why they were going to put him in the army.
No, they did that randomly back then.
Yeah, it's a draft, Jackie.
Yeah. They're like, we only draft the guys that are good at fighting. No, that's not what happened.
They have fighting auditions for the army.
Welcome to history as I kind of sort of remember it.
Right? But like he sings sad songs in the rain and pines after his lovers. And now he's good at beating the shit out of actual like hardened criminals. Wow.
They're not that hardened.
Wow, they're harder than him.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I'm going to burn a question right now.
Mm-hmm.
Why in the hell did they even go in there?
Right?
Like, why not just say, okay, look, OD'd ladies in the other room.
Yeah, I think this is a little much. Let's bail.
Yeah, like, just get your tube top and let's get the fuck out of here. And then...
I know you're fast at packing bags, so...
Yeah, and then Critter's like, but I've got 2 now. I've got a sequin one and this bright neon green one. Which one do I take?
Right.
I've only got room for 1 on the motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really going in there to be like, hey, guys, which tank top looks better on me?
Ah. A little fashion advice.
Yeah.
All right, but he calls the police, and I guess that's all wrapped up. Then they cut to them being married, and him going to the army, and he's headed to Nam, but first they got to have a little beach dancing fest.
Which looked really weird.
Yeah, she's just twitching around.
It looks like she's trying to hold a banana in between her knees. Because you don't ever see her legs in any of these shots, right? It's just her upper body. So she's like, gotta hold on to this banana. Oh, God, somebody put butter on it.
Oh, man. What a like a... I was just about... And Sam is falling out of the chair.
Whew, that was a good one.
It's a metaphor, Jackie, for what's happening with him headed to Nam, because it's all fun and games until you got a banana stuck between your knee, which I'm pretty sure is how Bob Woodward described the whole Vietnam experience. It was America's banana between our knees. Vietnam.
Don't
It
bruise
was
the
a
banana.
real fuckfest. A breaking point for this country. Concrete. Walter Cronkite is like, well, thank God nobody put an Oreo between their elbows.
What? Can you even do that? Can we go get some Oreos so I can try it?
No, Jackie. Cronkite said that would be not good for America, so don't do that.
Okay.
We've already crossed the banana bridge, so let's just stick with that for now.
Anyway, later this banana disappears in the middle of the dance. And they're like, the end.
Yeah, the
Where'd
end.
that banana go?
You know, I think things have not wrapped up here real great, guys. This one does
I
not
have
wrap itself up
questions.
nicely. So who wants to ask some questions?
First question. Is Harry dead?
I think so.
Yeah, dude, I think he brained him in that cell.
With the tire iron. I don't think you get brained with the tire iron and make it.
And they put
You
a big
might.
goosebump on his head, so you would know that he got hit in the head.
Right? Yeah, no, I don't think you can get brained with the tire iron and be okay. I think Terry's dead as fuck.
Either that or he's
Okay.
now a permanent janitor there because he's
Well, his name is-
Ben.
That's not cool.
Yeah. His name is Harry Blast, so now if he's dead, he's Harry Blasted.
That's so bad. I liked it.
Damn it. So everybody's going to jail, right? And I think Buzz is getting pinned for killing Harry, which was not what he was supposed to do. Like, my point is that the end all be all? Like, is that the mistake that causes everybody to go to jail? Like, what if he hadn't killed Harry? Would Critter have even really given a shit? He just would have been like, well, I don't think I want to be a janitor anymore. I'm getting out of here. But no, he calls the cops because these guys are fucking murderers.
And then you look at Harry and you're like, well,
Yeah, and like this whole time, Leo's like, you know what, Buzz, you're a fucking idiot. You don't do any of the thinking around here. And that's a good thing because you're fucking stupid. So let me do all the fucking thinking. And Buzz is like kind of like been our like guy that we've been following around that we think we're going to have an interesting plot line, but now he's getting shit on. So maybe Buzz isn't stupid and something he's going to have to prove himself. But no, Buzz is just fucking dumb as fuck.
he gets schooled.
He's always freelancing too.
All right. Buzz's character arc it's pretty one direction. Like it's like the family tree that doesn't have any branches. Buzz's character arc pretty much is a flat line.
Yeah. I'll ask the big question. Does she wait for him?
Oh, at Nom? Well, no, but if she did, she'd be waiting forever because I don't think he's coming back.
Boo.
Dark stuff, man.
It's Nom. It sucked.
I thought you said there were bananas and Oreos there.
No, that's a metaphor because it's a bad thing to have a banana between your knees. It's bad. Did you see what she was doing with the banana between her knees? We don't want that.
This is true.
Yeah, fuck that. Now Vietnam blew ass, and I don't think he's got a guitar, Sam. All the guitar guys in any movie don't come back from Nam.
Elvis did.
Elvis did go to Nam, that's true.
USO isn't the same thing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, no, he's not coming back. And no, she does not wait for him. And also, her life dream was to be a go-go dancer. She's still got plenty of time on those legs. Like, get your ass back in the go-go dancing world, lady. It can't be all this shitty. You know, try Vegas.
Yeah. You're there anyway.
Atlantic City.
That's a ways away.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you know, little cat or ass gasser grass, you know? Get
Yeah.
your way across America. Get involved with some shirtless, sweaty guy that Jackie likes. Chris Christopherson. He'll take you there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get in his
Trucking.
truck.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I've got a really important question.
Mm-hmm.
Who would win in a mermaid flopping contest?
Okay. All right.
Joni or Michelle?
Mermaid flopping contest.
Yeah, you're like a half fish,
Mm-hmm.
and they tie your legs up in saran wrap because they can't actually afford like a mermaid tail.
Right. Sure.
Okay. So what's more important in this contest, grace or vigor?
Oh, I'm going to go definitely with vigor because, you want a mermaid that, could sell.
So then Joni, because Joni has some of the most furious convulsions that I've ever seen on film.
And she's clearly had a lot more drugs in her system. So eventually she is going to OD and then just start spasming. And people will be like, whoa, she's going to town. Nope. Dying, actually. But that's some sweet moves, lady. You are one hell of a floppy mermaid. So, yeah, Joni. Okay, I guess that wraps up questions.
Nope, I have one really big question left.
Please.
Does Marty ever get that stuff out from underneath his fingernail that he's been working on for the entire film?
He needs a toe spoon. There should be we should have a prequel for this movie about Marty and his fingernails. Okay, final recommendations. I'm going to go first. Sadly, this is a great time. This is a total do if you have a bad movie podcast, because it is great material for bad movie podcasting, but I can't give it a do on just a regular watch. This shit stinks. This movie is bad.
So what about the Riff Tracks version? Because we didn't watch that.
That's what I would say. It's not Riff Tracks, it's MST3K. So I would say do with that, but I don't know if it's a good episode or not because I've never seen it, but I can't recommend this by yourself. Jackie? Oh, hey, Sam, it's your pick, Jackie, so you go last.
I pretty much will mirror that. I would say that the seasoned listeners of the podcast, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's a good time. If you're dipping your toes into the bad movie water, do it with Mystery Science Theater.
Jackie?
I really liked it.
Okay.
I'm going to give
That's
it a
fine.
do, even without Riff Tracks, because I was just super entertained at the weird cuts and the dialogue that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
And I really like Dastardly Dan. I don't know what his name is. Sam keeps saying it, but I like Dastardly Dan. Marty with his eyebrows.
Yeah. It's worth showing up almost just for the bathtub that drives itself, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough call because I did really like it and I had a lot of fun with it, but if we give a due to this, it's pretty much like you got to give a due to everything, including like the incredibly strange creatures that turned out to be mix-up zombies and fucking Secret Agent Super Dragon. I mean, just all that fucking MST3 Beast of Yucca Flats, all that crap. That's real crap. I think that this movie is real crap, but it's a lot of fun.
It's crap
for me. Yeah. But I think even like 6 years ago when we started this podcast, I would have just been like flat out, nope, don't do it. Don't do it at all. It's stuck. It stinks. But now that I have seen every single bad movie ever, I'm like, yeah, I personally like this movie, but I don't think anybody else does. So I don't know. It's a weird call.
It's a do advanced class, don't otherwise.
Yeah.
I think my mom would watch this movie on a bottle of wine.
Yeah, sure.
And probably be like, did you see that?
With Quaaludes.
She had like one pube.
Yeah. Quaaludes, and, she'd start twerking all over the place. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, that's your podcast for this week, guys. Next week, it's my pick. We are going to go with another MST3K classic, Tracks of the Moon Beast, that is currently streaming on Amazon Prime. So
Is this a space movie?
No, it's a monster movie. You should know that by now, Jackie. It's the Moon Beast. It's a creature feature. So that's on Amazon Prime. Check that out. We'll see what happens with that because I have not seen it. I don't think Sam's seen it. I don't think Jackie's seen it.
Nope.
Rolling the dice. We will also have a Wednesday episode. I don't know if we're going to call them Coronasodes. Probably next week on that, too, because I've got some tales from the Baywatch to regale you all with. Haha! Finished season 6 yesterday, so that's what we're going to do. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Shop at Macy's and love me tonight.
Dragon pendant.
No. Weird, Jackie. Yeah, the listeners are going to know about that.
The dragon pendant that I won from Macy's.
All right, guys. Have a great week. Get to the chopper.
Fans of Stinker Madness, iTunes thinks you don't like us. What? How is that possible? Well, it's because you haven't given us a review yet. Go to Stinker Madness on iTunes and take just a couple seconds to rate and review us there. While you're at it, hit up Stitcher.com as well. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter @/Stinker Madness and email us at talk@stinkermadness.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening and get to the chopper.